I like butter. You like butter, don't lie. But this is supermarket butter. It's okay, but it's sad. And sometimes we don't have our own supermarket butter, but we can make our own. You can do it from milk, which is harder, but the easiest way is to buy some pure cream. All right, let's have a look here. On the back, there, see it says fat total? Well, you'll want it about at least 35%. You can see this one is 36 grams per 100. That's 36%. So we want it at least 35. The higher, the better. All right, now we've got some salt here. We'll add that later. Now, is this hard? Not really. First thing you got to do is you got to get yourself a clean bowl, all right? And it should be big. The reason, we're only going to have a little bit, but when we mix it, we don't want to splash milk all over the kitchen and have our mothers or wives kill us. So what else do we need? Well, if you've got a big kitchen mixer or food processor, this is easy, but you don't really need that. I don't. So you can have one of these little hand thingy, it'll not plugged in, or even this one, like that. This is just a really cheap supermarket one. I think it cost me about $15, something like that, not much at all. Okay, this is called, it's got to be clean cheesecloth or muslin. Okay, and that's pretty much all you need. All right, and a bowl. You don't need the bread maker. Oh, and this, just to do a little scrapey. So first of all, make sure the bowl is clean, and your grabbers. Make sure your grabbers are very, very clean. And we're back. So you can see I've put the 600 ml of cream, pure cream, in the bottom of this bowl. And you notice, as I said, the bowl's much bigger than we need because when that spins, there's milk and then cream is going to fly all over the place. And if it's only a small bowl, then have milk and cream all over the walls. All right, so I'll use this one. Here we go. All right, so all we do, just pour it in, nothing else at this stage, and just go like this. Okay, slowly at first. You don't want to go too fast at first. Not so this can go that speed. Nope, we want it to be slow. Now, if you have a big stand mixer or a food processor, this should only take 5 minutes. But because I'm using a hand one like this, it's going to take maybe half an hour. If you really want to, you can just, if you have just a whisk, and you can do it by hand, but that will probably take a few hours and you'll get very sore muscles. So just do this for a couple of minutes. I'll turn it off because it'll get very boring otherwise. Okay, we're back. So we're about a minute in. This took roughly about a minute, as I said. So it's still milk, but it's just all frothy. All right, see how that's getting close? It's still milk. It hasn't done anything. It's only been a minute, maybe 2 at the most. And it's all frothy. That's how we like it. So as I said, we've been going about a minute. I'll start again. So we get to this frothy stage. Then what we do, and this is where it takes patience, we go faster. We turn, like before was just like this. Now we're going full blast, okay? And see, all the splashes, that's why we need the big bowl. And this is going to take, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. So you probably don't want to watch me do this for 5 or 10 minutes. So we'll turn off or pause the video and we'll come back when it starts to change. And I'll tell you about how long this took. Okay, we're about 2 minutes, another 2 minutes, and you can see it's starting to turn to cream. Okay, it's not really milk anymore. It's like really runny cream. And at about this stage, you can have unsalted butter. Tap, tap, tap. You can have totally unsalted butter. But if you're like me, most people, I think, you want not too much. You can get salted butter. I don't like it, but if you put nothing in, it'll taste really weird. So we put in a little bit of salt, okay? Just a few teaspoons, I guess. 2 or 3 teaspoons is probably enough. Okay, maybe even too much, I don't know. But when you practice, you'll get to know. So when we've done that, so this is about 3 minutes of mixing all up. So when it just starts to turn into a runny cream is when we can add salt. You can add it before or later, but this is when I do it. So we're back at the full speed and we'll pause. So here we are, maybe another 2 minutes later. You see, it's kind of whipped cream now. It's still a little bit runnier than I like it, but different people like the cream a bit different. So this is still a little bit sloppy, all right? So some people like it like this. Some people, like me, if they just want cream, will keep going. Notice how I move when you're using a hand one. You've got to move it around. Don't just sit in the middle, because you have cream on or butter on the inside and milk on the outside. So you want to go around and around, and don't forget to scrape off the sides, and that's when you can use this to scrape it off, but I've got one hand on the camera. So see, it's starting to get thicker. It's starting to get a bit thicker, so that's good. I'm going to keep going. All right, so here we are about a minute later now. All right, can you see this has gotten really thick? Okay, this is how I like whipped cream, so you can stick that on your pancakes or in your hot chocolate or whatever. Like I said, how you like whipped cream is up to you, obviously, but I like it just a little bit thick, so you can actually pick it up with the whisk here, and it doesn't, it doesn't just drip out. I like it like that. Now at this point, you got to decide: do you want all this whipped cream, or do you want to keep going and make butter? I guess you can take a little bit of the whipped cream out. By the way, this is why you have really clean grabbers. Grab a bit. It's really delish. Okay, now this is the long part. I'm going to keep going, make some butter. All right, so this will probably take 10, 15 minutes, I'm guessing. So I'll definitely pause and we'll come back. All right, now I've been going for probably an extra 5 minutes. It's still cream. At this point, the first time you're doing, you might be starting to think, it's not working. It's still cream. Yes, it will stay cream for quite a while. All right, see how it's all on the sides there? So don't forget to scrape it back down properly, so it's all mixes in nice and well. Okay, and you can go tap, 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 and get it off. All right, so we put that aside where it's clean. So like I said, this is going to take probably 15 minutes, maybe more. I can't remember exactly, but we'll see. So it's nice and thick cream. It's still cream, but soon, hopefully, it will start to change where it will be bad cream and bad butter. So if you get much past this point, you have to go all the way to butter. All right, I'm probably about 10 minutes in now. I'm not sure if you can hear me. I better turn this down. I'm about 10 minutes in now, I think. It still looks like cream. I just tasted it. It doesn't taste a little funny now because it must be starting to separate, although we can't see. If you look down in the middle, see, it's still clear. There's no water, there's no buttermilk yet. So eventually we'll see it's wet. It gets all wet, but not there yet. Here we go. Now you might be able to see now it's less like cream and it's kind of starting to crumble. Okay, it's starting to get really thick and you see around the sides getting crumbly. That's a good sign. It's starting to change. But if you look down there, there's no liquid down there. It's all still the one cream. It's not starting to break up into butter and buttermilk. All right, which buttermilk is great because you can use that to make pancakes. If you use normal milk, pancakes taste okay. If you use the buttermilk, which was going to come out in a minute, it tastes so good. All right, so we're not far away now. So about 12 minutes in, I think, now. So we'll keep going and we'll see. Okay, let's have a look now. I don't know if you can really see, But at the bottom there, it's just starting to see a little bit of moisture where the sort of going away. But I saw it before, so that means the butter is starting to separate from the buttermilk. So we're getting close, and it's about 17 minutes now, I think, something like that. So we're not far. Let's keep going. Oh, here we go. Now I'll stop and see. Yeah. Can you see down there? There's a little bit of. You can see some of the buttermilk starting to separate. So we're close. Okay, we're definitely getting closer now because let me see. See, it's hard to make a hole because it's all getting wet and slippery. And another thing is, you'll notice if you can hear me, it doesn't stick to the side. So even if I push some up on the wall, it kind of wants to fall back down, whereas cream will just stick up there, right? So it's getting wet, and if we're about 17, 18 minutes or something like that, I can't remember. Around, say, 20 at the most. And it's starting to get quite sloppy. You can see there. And I don't know if you can notice, there's definitely some buttermilk, quite a bit of it now starting to form at the bottom. But it's hard to see. Okay, we can see down there. You can see there's lots of water down there now. It's buttermilk, not really water. So that means we're nearly done. And another hint is it's changed from white to that really nice buttery yellow. And it tastes like butter as well. Okay, so we're just going to go for another couple of minutes just to make sure, okay? It's better to do it a little bit too much than a little bit not enough, if you know what I mean. So we're going to keep going another couple of more minutes, and then I'll come back. And so far, we're about somewhere between 20 and 25 minutes. I don't know exactly. All right, here we are. So that's been about 25 minutes. So you can see there's lots of buttermilk there, that watery stuff. Okay, the butter's nice and butter yellow, funnily enough. And see how it kind of looks almost like rice in a sense, like boiled rice or like finely chopped up cheese. So that's pretty good. All right, so we've got the buttermilk there, which you can either throw out or you can keep. Because like I said, you can drink it. It's like Marmite or Vegemite. You either love it or you hate it. So I don't really like to drink it. Like I said, if you want to make pancakes or something you bake, which is supposed to have like a nice buttery taste, then this is so good instead of normal milk. Okay, so all we've got to do is all scrape it all down. Okay, make sure we collect as much as we can. See what I was talking about the high bowl? I should have used a higher one because now I've got to clean up the kitchen. I've got milk and butter flying all over the place. Better do it before anyone comes home and I get killed. All right, so I can scrape it down in the bottom. All right, so let me turn off the camera. I'll turn on in a minute and I get prepared. Okay, and we're back. I just gave the kitchen a bit of a wipe down in case anyone comes home and I get yelled at. So yeah, so we've still got our buttermilk and our butter on the outside. Now I've prepared, don't need the salt. You can add some more salt if you really want to, but not too much, otherwise it's not good for you. So we've got a bowl, nice clean bowl, lots of scratches, but it's clean, and a sieve so we can drain it, or strainer. All right, so we put our muslin or cheesecloth over. This is important. If you don't have one of these, you can use like a tea towel, but make sure it's very clean and as thin as possible. All right, so what you do, whoops, better get what I need, is a big ladle, especially a holy ladle. A holy ladle. So it's a very religious ladle. Not really. A different type of holy. All right, so we'll get our butter, put it nice and close so we don't have any dribbles, and we will simply spoon it or ladle it out. Make sure you put it on the cheesecloth. And just let it drain, 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 drain. Drain, 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 drain. All right. You can stay here for an hour if you really want to. Best is just to put it on the cheesecloth. All right, so get another big scoop, let it drain, drain. Cheesecloth. All right, I'll turn it off. You get the idea. All right, so taking most of it out. Never probably get all of it out, but how crazy you want to go getting every last skerrick out is up to you. But we've got quite a decent amount here. All right, so now all we've got to do is just try and obviously probably a bigger cheesecloth would have been better, but wrap it up. So I need 2 hands. I'm going to put the camera down. All right, so now I wrapped it up, just letting it drain. And if you want to, you can go be careful so don't tear the paper or the cloth. You can squeeze it, see, like you're milking a cow almost. Okay, or squeezing an orange is probably a better way of putting that. So you squeeze it, not too hard, otherwise you'll rip the cheesecloth. Okay, just squeeze. And this might take a few minutes. And squeeze some and let gravity do some. Maybe 5 minutes. And you'll get all of that yummy buttermilk out. Okay, so here's another point where it's really important to make sure your nose pickers are nice and clean. So unwrapped it. So here we've got our butter. Okay, you're gonna have to touch it. That's why you need clean hands. All right. So you put it there, and I've got on just some what do you call it? Cling wrap or sandwich plastic or whatever. Has different names in all over the place. So just wrap it up. Okay, and I need 2 hands. All right, I'm back, wrapped it up, and that way, once it's nice and tight, again, don't be too rough or you'll tear the plastic. Just shape it into a block or a cube or whatever. You can just do that. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you can put it in the fridge, and that'll keep for probably a week or more. Or you can use an old butter plastic container and put it in there. All right. Let's weigh this, actually. We'll go over here and we'll get my scales. Here we go. Now we'll turn them on. Beep. All right. 0 grams. And we've got 250, close enough, grams of butter from our 600 mils of cream. All right. Okay, and the last step is, so we've got our buttermilk where it drained. Put it back in. All right, and then you can strain that out and put it in another, like an empty bottle or something like that, or some container where you can keep it. And that should be about 250 milliliters of buttermilk. Now it's not really cheap to do it this way, but this one, see, you get it where it's only got about 2 days to go. So they make it really cheap. Okay, so you buy it that way and it's quite cheap. And if you use just the butter, it's expensive, but if you use it and the buttermilk, so you don't have to buy buttermilk, it's actually a little bit cheaper. And this is so much more tasty and probably better for you because they don't put the nasty chemicals in it to make it last forever. All right, so that's it. Pretty simple. So it took about half an hour. Like I said, if you've got a big mixer or food processor, it'd be even quicker, maybe 10 minutes or something like that. Enjoy.